Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings, this time 8 o'clock Central, to talk strategies, tips, share success stories, but mainly to support each of you. Want to welcome aboard our new white label partners. We have two types of white label partners, those that are focused on helping small businesses access capital, and then also white label partners that are looking to help individuals and business owners improve credit. So two different white label partner programs. Many of you are operating in both capacities because they complement one another. Today, we're going to be talking about the 60-day credit sweep. So this is especially relevant to those of you that are white label partners in the 60-day credit sweep. So let's go through a quick breakdown. We'll talk about the what, we'll share a few success stories, talk about next steps, and then, of course, answer any questions that you have. At any point that you have a question, a comment, or concern, just go ahead and post it into the question and answer box. It's like a chat box of Zoom. All right, so what is the 60-day credit sweep? And I think even before we talk about what, let's address why, not shown on the screen. Why is it that you and I care about individuals and their credit? Well, I know you can make a lot of money from it, but that's not the motivating factor. It comes down to financial literacy, right? One of the most important things that you and I do is help improve financial literacy. And so if we're trying to get funding to start or grow a business, then of course, credit worthiness is a reflection of how we paid our bills in the past. And many lenders and or extenders of credit would presume that's how we'll operate going forward. Thus, if we've not been responsible and have not done what we promised to do to pay our bills in the past, they think we probably won't be in the future, therefore more difficult to get funding. As just individuals, as just consumers, as people, as families, credit matters a lot. And a lot of people don't understand. I think almost everyone has a superficial knowledge of credit, but they don't necessarily know what they can do if they have some negative reporting on their credit, what they can ethically, legally, and effectively do. So this matters in two regards. Those of us that are helping small business owners qualify for a capital raise, obviously credit is part of the underwriting criteria for many sources of capital, and for the community at large, for our nation at large, having good credit is important, right? It's going to help us buy a home or qualify for a rental, transportation, education, so forth. All right, so that's the big picture why, and that kind of goes without saying, but I just thought it would be important to clarify that. So that's why we're even having this discussion, is because a lot of people have banged up credit, and that banged up credit keeps them from accomplishing what they want, or it costs them more because they're considered higher risk. So that's the big picture. What? The 60-day legal, it's a 60-day legal process, which we're talking about the 60-day credit sweep. It's a 60-day legal process to better credit offered through a 501c3 nonprofit. It is not credit repair. So important to understand, it's not credit repair. However, it is very effective for blocking applicable inquiries, collections, charge-offs, bankruptcies, etc. As a distribution partner, you have a couple options, and you can offer, and of course, generate income by offering the 60-day credit sweep either for free or fee-based. That confuses some people, but it need not. So let's dig into that for a moment. When it's free, you would, as a white label partner, you would still collect a deposit from the participant, but it's a refundable deposit. And you have to, of course, have some legitimate and clearly written trigger. What most of you are doing that is offering the 60-day credit sweep for free is saying, hey, I'll give you the 60-day credit sweep for free. However, we want to help you raise capital afterwards. And we use the Access to Capital program for that. So essentially, you're working out a barter. You're saying, hey, I'll give you the 60-day credit sweep for free, but you do agree to go through the Access to Capital where you'll raise at least $100,000. In other words, you'll use that better credit to get funding. And from that, then there's a performance fee attached. And again, you're the white label partner. You decide what that performance fee is. Maybe it's 6%, maybe it's 10%, maybe it's more, maybe it's less. But essentially, they would pay the deposit up front. They would get the deposit back after they've raised at least 100,000. In other words, we've helped them improve their credit. We've applied that to funding. They've paid you a performance fee. And once they've done that, then a deposit comes back. If that's too convoluted, too complicated for you, you don't have to do it that way, but it's an option. And so I want you to know that. However, probably for most of you, the bread and butter will be just fee-based. In other words, the person pays you as the 60-day credit sweep white label partner a fee. You set the payment and they pay you. And so based upon that, you're controlling the pricing, you're controlling your profit. As far as what you want to charge for it, if you're going to do fee-based, it's entirely up to you. I see some of you have a price point of just under $1,000, $999, for example. Others of you are charging closer to $2,500. Some are doing some split billing where they pay $1,000 now and then $1,000 more after 60 days. It's up to you. I mean, that's the beauty of the white label partnership, is that you're in control of client pricing. The program is at no risk to the participant. There's a written guarantee. And as we've made reference to a couple times, we have a very lucrative referral program. We call it the White Label Partnership. It's free to enroll. And maybe equally important, it takes very, very little time, because there's not a lot of servicing involved with this. What you would do is get 3 documents from the client. You're going to upload those into a Dropbox folder that we've provided you. And then really wait 60 days. There's not a lot of hand holding or servicing that's necessary. Carlos is asking what the 3 documents are. So you'll have the participation agreement, because it always should be in writing. We provide you the template that you can edit. You're going to collect the individual's driver's license or some other form of proof of identity. And then lastly, you're going to collect a recent utility bill or some other recent proof of address that has their name and their address on it. Those are the only 3 documents, Carlos, that you collect. It's super simple. Timothy looks like he's involved with credit repair, which this is not credit repair, but he's asking, would this work? Yeah, this is a great compliment. So you may have your normal credit repair business, but in some instances, it might be that the client would be better suited for this. That would be your call. Samuel's asking about, well, I'm going to hold Samuel's question. We'll come back to that. So any questions on the why, which we covered, or the what? Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and go back to Samuel's point. So Samuel looks like also was in credit repair, and he's talking about how time intensive it is, because he's doing that credit repair. So he's drafting all these dispute letters and mailing them out. And so when he looks at from what I'm interpreting here, when he looks at the amount of time that he puts into it, it's really not that profitable. Since this is almost a hands-off approach, it is much more profitable for him. Hopefully I got that right. Thank you, Samuel. All right, so as far as success stories, because I think when it comes down to what, if someone has less than ideal credit, why would they not want to enroll in the 60-day credit sweep with you? I think there's probably only 2 reasons why they wouldn't if they have mucked up credit. The first of which is that they want to have confidence that it works, or the reason they wouldn't enroll because they don't have confidence that it'll work. The second is cost. They don't have the money. I'm going to show you how to overcome both of those barriers over the next couple minutes. So first, and as far as success stories, we've got a ton of success stories, and I could have given you multiple pages, but what's the point? We know the program works. On our website, this is the example, and this was over like a 31 or 35 day period. So took this client from a 524 to a 748 on TransUnion, 528 to 748 on Experian, 518 to 734 on Equifax. I mean, that's great. That's great. more recently, so that's been up on our website for about a year. We've been doing the 60-day credit sweep for 18 months now, and it's proven to be very successful. More recently, Rodney just recently went through it. He went up 161 points on TransUnion, a little bit less on Experian, 112 on Equifax, ended up having 14 negative items blocked. DeAndre recently went through, went up 102, 158, 122, had 17 delinquent items blocked. Charles, after he went through it, ended up at a 744, 741, and 748 with 12 derogatory items blocked. Devin recently went through it. He ended up with 758, 758, and 762. And Chuck is asking why the scores are different. Well, each of the bureaus have their own algorithms, and not all creditors list derogatories to all bureaus. So it's common that there's a variance on credit scores. Now, if there's too big of a spread, that's normally indicative that, for instance, let's say you defaulted on a Kay's Jewelers. Maybe Kay's Jewelers only reports to 2 of the bureaus. So if the Kay's is blocked, only 2 of the bureaus are going to jump up and respond to that, right? Because it wasn't on the 3rd. But yeah, there'll be variability from bureau to bureau. And then Tammy recently went through, ended up with a 720 on TransUnion, a 764 on Experian, and a 674 on Equifax. And so, I mean, we'd rather her be above 700 on all 3, but there's different variables that impact individuals' credit. Part of it are derogatory items, like we're talking about how it can block those that are applicable, but also it's the presence of good credit. And that's what we do if they'll enroll also with you. We're back up to this bullet in access to capital. Not only will you help them improve their personal credit rather dramatically, you'll also help them use that credit to get money, to get funding for whatever they want. Maybe they just want to buy, there's a new Porsche 911 for sale over in Shreveport, Louisiana, I saw this morning. Maybe they just want to go buy $123,000 2022 Porsche 911. Maybe that's what they're wanting the money for. Maybe it's to pay off credit cards. Maybe it's to pay off their mortgage. Maybe it's to start a business, whatever it is. The point is you can help them remove negative through this process, and then you can help them add positive credit so they actually have cash coming out of it. So those are just some recent success stories. As far as how to get involved, it's painfully simple. You can become a client or a 60-day credit sweep white label partner on businessparalegal.com, free 60-day credit sweep. So kind of short and sweet. Again, we relaunched, I should say, the 60-day credit sweep white label partnership about a week ago, and we've had really good enrollment. A bunch of you have enrolled as white label partners on this program, this campaign. So Eric, I see you on this morning. Welcome aboard, and others that have done so. There's no cost to be a white label partner. We'll train you, support you, but there's frankly not a whole lot to it, right? All you need to do is submit 3 documents. We're going to provide you a Dropbox once you sign up. And then once you upload those 3 documents, then we can go to work. So who has questions, comments, concerns on the 60-day credit sweep and or being a white label partner? Because that's our message today. All right, Joseph brings up a good point. So when the client's going through the 60-day credit sweep, they shouldn't be applying for new credit during that time. Now, afterwards, we can go get them $100,000 or more, guaranteed, through the access to capital. But Joseph's right. While going through the 60-day credit sweep, if they're out applying for new credit, it will reduce the effectiveness of the sweep, thus keeping them from seeing as much of a credit score increase. So that is one thing that you would need to convey to them is please don't apply for new credit during this 60-day window, or it won't be as successful. Now, if they just need to do it, they just need a new car, they need a new house, things can happen. It's their call, but they just need to go into eyes wide open that they're not going to see as strong of response. Okay, thank you for that. Who else has questions on why this is needed, how it works, success stories, or how to plug in? All right, Karen's asking a good point, and she says, well, there's companies like Lexington Law and some big players in the credit repair industry. Why is there a need for this? And I think that's the best question anyone could ask. Well, why? Well, first of all, this is not credit repair, Karen, as we've talked about. It's a legal process of using federal laws to permanently block derogatory items. So it's a different approach. I guess it's the same end goal, to have better credit, but it's definitely a different process. This is cheaper than those other options. It's guaranteed. And lastly, Karen, you can make a lot of money doing this. I think Lexington Law has some sort of referral program, but you're going to make pennies, right? Here, you should make around $1,000 for each client that you help. And again, you control the pricing, but trust me, you're not going to make $1,000 for referring someone to Lexington Law. So it's a different approach. It's a better approach. It's guaranteed, and you make more money. So you're right, though, Karen, that there are many credit repair companies out there, and that's fine. And some of you operate credit repair. That's fine. That's do the way you want to do that. Why are there electric vehicles now being offered as well as gas? Because different people have different preferences. So, this is the equivalent of the new Tesla model, right? It's sleek, it's effective, it's fairly priced, and it works. So does that mean that Jeep's still not making gas guzzling Jeep Wranglers? No, they do. Some people want a gas guzzling Jeep Wrangler. Nothing wrong with that. But this is a different option. So thank you for that point. Doug's asking a bit about production expectations, and that's a good point. So as a white label partner, you're in control of your own destiny, Doug. As we talked about, you're setting the fee structure. You're determining if you want to offer this as a free offering or as fee-based, so that's up to you. But we do know that we want our white label partners to help at least 10 clients a month. And so at 10 clients a month, it's important enough to you that it's staying top of mind. You're making a decent enough income that you pay attention to it. Because what we know is if we don't commonly work on something, then rather be playing basketball or offering credit sweep or what have you, we tend to become rusty if we're not focused on it. And so our white label partners are those individuals that are more actively engaged, still very, very part-time. So we're not talking about some big allocation of time and effort at all. But you're exactly right. Our white label partners are going to help at least 10 clients in the month of July, and then we'll work with you. Okay, Lon brought up a question, and I failed to bring it up or come back to it. So thank you, Lon. So I said there are two main objections that people would have if they have mucked up credit. I said muck, M-U-C-K, mucked up credit. So the first of which is that they don't know if it'll work or not, and we can overcome that with statistics and success stories. The other is they can't afford it. And so I brought that up earlier, but I failed to come back to it. So thank you, Lon. So if some people need money repair. They frankly don't need credit repair right now. They need money repair. Some people just don't have enough money. So if they need this, but they don't have enough money, have them become one of your referral partners. And just say, Lon, we'll just role play. And let's say that you have Vernon that comes to you. And Vernon's on the training today, but we're just picking on Vernon just because he was the next person to enroll after you. So Lon is the white label partner for the 60-day credit sweep. And he's talking to Vernon. And Vernon says, yep, my credit's not where it needs to be. Lon would probably ask Vernon, well, what would you do if you had better credit? If in 60 days, Vernon, 2 months from now, you had great credit, what would you use it for? And so Lon's finding out what Vernon's passion is. So I'd buy a home for my family, or I'd get better transportation, or I'd get a business loan. Whatever Vernon wants, it's up to him. It's his vision, it's his desire. Because again, what you and I know is most people don't want better credit just for credit's sake. They want the utility of credit to use it. So Lon asked Vernon, well, what would you do with that better credit? If he had better credit in 60 days, he had a 700, 750 credit score in 60 days, what would you do with it? So Vernon tells Lon. And Lon says, okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. There's no risk. There's no reason not to get started. And Vernon says, oh, the only problem is I don't have the money to pay you. And so what Lon would probably do is say, hey, no problem, buddy. Why don't you go ahead and put a deposit down now? What's something that fits in your budget, $100 or more? Let's put a deposit down now, Vernon. And I'll tell you what, become one of my affiliates, one of my referral partners. Help me spread the word so we can help more people. Every person you refer over to me, Vernon, I'll apply $100 to your account. So it won't take long, and then you'll be able to actually go through it for free. So that's the answer, Lon, is and the rest of you, if you have a client that just doesn't have the money, then give them, teach them how to fish. Don't give them a fish. Give them a hand up, not a handout. So, not a problem. Go ahead and get a small deposit from them. You want them to have a little bit of skin in the game, because if they're completely freaking destitute and they can't afford $100, they don't even need to worry about their credit. They've got to go figure out their money problem, right? They're in deep money problems. But I'd get about $100 deposit from them. Some might even offer more, and then have them being one of your referral partners, one of your affiliates. And they might come back with excuses. Well, I don't know anyone. Well, you don't have to know people. You can show them how to find people. You can give them leads lists, what have you. But there's no way that any of you or any of us are going to reach our potential by just hustling on our own. So you want referral partners. You want realtors and loan officers and car dealership salesmen and others that are referring to you. But in addition to those professionals, you could have individuals that just are down the luck. I was at one of our favorite, I'll close on this, I was at one of our favorite family restaurants for dinner last week. I was talking to the owner of the restaurant. I was asking about staffing issues. What kind of staffing issues are you facing? And he said, well, wait staff, it's hard to get and keep wait staff. And he said that he finds that those working mothers, middle-aged or a little bit older, that need to work are the best employees because they need the money. And so finding individuals, you don't have to just find experienced salespeople. You could have moms that are at home, teachers that are out for the summer, what have you, and make them a referral partner. Slide them $100 each time that they refer someone to you that enrolls. And you'd be surprised by how hard some people will hustle. All right, so that's where we're at. If you are not a 60-day credit sweep white label partner, I encourage you to become one. If you're not participating in the program, but you've got shitty credit, I encourage you to participate. And we'll see you back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.